Hi, my name is Ellen McCauley, and we're at Pray It Up in Syracuse, New York, today, June 12th. I want to say happy birthday to John McCarthy. Met John McCarthy right in college, and we've been friends all these years. I love you, buddy. You know, tonight's topic's an interesting one. It's like on forgiving yourself. And you might be sitting there going, what? June 12th? We're talking about forgiving ourselves? You know, haven't we talked about similar topics? One of the things I kept hearing at the scale over the past few weeks is, I've really blown it. I should have lost more weight this session. You know, I shouldn't. I really haven't done what I thought I should do. I just can't get my head around it. I went berserk the last 2 weeks. I'm just a failure. I've heard so much negativity. And I think we need to all not only forgive ourselves, but really embrace using that forgiveness as a tool to lose weight. And let's talk a little bit about that. Forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves. So often it's so easy to forgive everyone else, but forgiving yourself, we dwell on things, we stew it over, we let it trip we let it trip ourselves up. And so often, even when we try to forgive ourselves, somebody else will bring it up. Oh, you think you're so great? What about what you did back then? And then there you go back down. Or you lose some weight and someone says, well, you've gained it back before. We'll see how long this lasts. So if you don't bring yourself down, there's someone right in line helping you bring yourself down. And I can't tell you how many times I have actually hated myself and judged myself and found myself to be lacking, especially when it's come to weight. I have struggled so much, and I haven't really felt good this session. I got a few things going on, nothing serious, but it's been tough. It's been a tough session on me and on a lot of people. And I think to myself, maybe I should exercise more. Maybe I should stop doing this. Maybe, be up. Instead of embracing things and forgiving myself for not being perfect. This article is written by someone who had this aha moment that said, I need to forgive myself for all the diet failures I've ever had in my life and say, you know what, it's okay. It's okay that I went to Weight Watchers and was the star of the group and lost 100 pounds. It's okay that I gained it back because it just happened. And it's okay that I made mistakes and sinned in my life and asked God to forgive me. It's okay. We need to give ourselves permission to be free from the feelings of guilt and self-loathing. Let me just ask you this. Has anyone ever felt guilty by something they ate? Oh my God. Has anyone felt a little self-loathing, perhaps? Yeah. Have you ever sat there after you had a Snickers or a bag of chips and said, what did I just do? And then you say, it didn't even feel good. You know, and I say to ourselves, we got to let that go. And how do you learn to forgive yourself? It's funny, because learning to forgive yourself takes persistence and commitment. What else takes persistence and commitment? Losing weight in the first place. You know, when you start forgiving yourself for not being perfect, it enhances your health, your relationships. Did you ever see angry people? Angry! And even today, someone was very angry, and they were going, just screaming. You know, people were looking. So I said to this person, it wasn't directed at me, it was something that was going on, and they needed help. And I said, you know, if I can ask you just for a minute to let me just say a couple of things, and I promise I'll let you talk in just a second. And he kind of took his breath, and I said, it's taken me a long time, and I'm still learning this. Sometimes I get so angry and so upset, and people don't hear my words. They just hear my anger. And I've learned that if I try to stay calm and I try to say what I really feel, they hear my words, and I so desperately want to hear your words, and I want to help you. And he goes, you're right. I was just crazy right there. Calmed him right down. But it has taken me a long time to learn how to use my words and not scream or yell or get upset. And it's also taken me a long time to learn to forgive myself for not being perfect. This group has really helped me to get away. You know what being overweight is so often? A shame-based disease. I'm not good enough. Give me the food and the drink and I hide behind this weight. It's I need help. Can't you see me? Well, can you see me now? Can you see me now? Now, when I weigh 370, can you see me? Can you see the pain I'm in? And you know who wanted to see me was God. God wanted to see me. He wanted to see the pain I was in. And he was saying, that weight, you don't need that weight, Ellen. Stop hating yourself. I had, and I have to work on it, a constant critical voice in my head narrating my every move. You know, maybe if you would have done this, Ellen, you wouldn't be working at 60 years old almost. And maybe if you would have done that or done this or done that. And I don't seem the type, do I? Don't I? Hey, hi, it's Ellen. Narrator. You suck, you're awful. But on the outside, I'm like, hey, how you doing? So no one can see my little negative voice. And that's the worst kind then, because it's like when I was so overweight, people were like, what's wrong with her? Why? She seems so happy. Why is she so fat? No one can beat us up better than we beat ourselves up. We need to forgive ourselves for being human and making human mistakes. We think we need to be perfect. We think we need to be perfect. And it's funny too, because we had this seminar on abuse and neglect. And I was thinking, what is the difference between abuse and neglect? Well, abuse is when you do something on purpose. You do it on purpose. Neglect is when you just don't pay attention. You don't do what you're supposed to do, but you're not really doing it intentionally. And how often do we abuse and neglect ourselves? Because the abuse we can pretty much take, I went crazy and had 2 cases of beer and I ate, 20 bags of chip. That's really abuse. But the neglect is when we consistently not exercise. We consistently don't pay attention to what we need to eat to be healthy. So the neglect and the abuse we give ourselves, it adds up. And and we let ourselves get away with all these bad feelings. It's almost like we're in a prison. I sometimes feel like I've been in a prison of my own body with this constant struggle. What can I eat? What can I not eat? Am I going to gain weight? Am I going to lose? Anyone else ever feel like they're in a prison? I feel like, what am I going to eat? What can I not eat? Am I going to be fat? Am I going to be this? It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure to live in that kind of backpack of self-loathing that we just sometimes don't feel like we can set down. And what helps? The only thing that's ever helped me is Jesus Christ and this group. Those are the only things. Did anyone else ever feel like this group and God is really helping them? Does anyone else feel that way? Because I do. I feel that the community we have here, because I could tell you right now, like things I might have done in my life, and you'd say, you know what, Ellen, you were young, you tried, you did the best you could. I don't think any of you would say, whoa, you're a piece of crap, I'm quitting the group. You'd give me love, you'd give me compassion. Also, through the grace of God, we have this community, we have this group. We can finally say to ourselves, you know what, maybe I can be free. Maybe I can finally set these things behind us. And maybe it's not so much that you can't forgive yourself. Maybe there's someone that you've really harmed. Or maybe, someone's harmed you. And we need to let that go and pray for the other person. And that's what we have, that's what forgiving ourselves is. You don't forget it, but it doesn't cause you any trouble anymore. And you don't feel like you have to constantly bring up the memory and constantly say how bad you are. You feel less burden. I remember not Barbara Bush. What's the other Bush wife's name? Laura Bush. Laura Bush was in a car accident when she was young. And she hit a young girl. And the girl died. And I remember seeing an interview on her. And she said, I could have let that dictate the whole rest of my life with guilt and anguish and pain. And I did for many, many years. And finally, I asked God to help me channel that and to do good. And to not let it ruin, because I don't think that young girl would have wanted me. It was a mistake. It was an accident. So I always think about that. Yeah, we've all made mistakes. Yeah, we've done this or that. But does it dictate who we are today on June 12th, 2014? We need to put it behind us. We all screw up sometimes. Forgiving ourselves is as close as we can come to a reset button. We can't go back and undo the things we've done, the things we've ate, the pounds we've put on, but we can forgive ourselves and go forward. I'm going to stop right there, Bobby.